Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to an exciting episode of You've Already Peaked Gaming Podcast. Featuring your host, Locarthemanbeast. Also featuring me, the LobsterDust. On this week's episode, we've already taken 45 milligrams of melatonin. We're going to mix that with 1 tab of psilocybin and LSA, and we're going to go to the Shadow Realm.
And we're washing it down with Red Bulls.
No. No, I woke up. You text me like, you live? And I was like, nah. I didn't even take a lot of melatonin, but I think melatonin might be the craziest drug because I usually take when it's I gotta go to sleep. I take 15 milligrams, 3 5s, right?
Okay.
Have you never taken melatonin? Oh, bro. Okay, so you either it either puts you to sleep really quickly and you get very restful sleep, or you go into a coma and you are fighting for your life against not sleep paralysis demons, but you just have the crazy the tryptophan dreams after you had Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah,
it's that times 30.
Okay.
It was every those bad work dreams.
Yes.
Where you're a server and all of a sudden you're you have 16 tables that all sat down and they all want drinks right now. It was that. I was looking for the sides of ranch for everybody, looking around, and then I turned, and then somebody just had just bleeding arms, and they're like, "Why couldn't you start the IV?" And I was like, and I ran, and then my legs are turning into sand, and I'm becoming sand, and time's slowing, and sand's coming at me, and they're turning into people. And I was like, "Oh my god!" And I woke up, and that's when I saw your text message.
Bro.
I was freaking out.
I don't take any of that stuff because anything that makes me sleep longer fucks me up. NyQuil or anything like that. Anything that, or the ZQuil stuff, anything that is designed to extend sleep or to actually put me to bed. When I wake up, it's 2 or 3 days before I feel normal again. My body is just I cannot fucking mentally turn back on. So I just stay away from all that shit. Talk about weird dreams though, man. When I'm under a stress load or whatever, no dreams. When I'm at the end of a stress load, some of the weirdest fucking dreams of my life. And they're dreams that I'll snap out of at the very end and be like, this is a dream, wake up, and I'll sit straight up. But I've got to go through there was one a couple weeks ago. I was trying to get somewhere. I was trying to get to something. I don't remember what happened, but there was almost frostbite on my fingers. And I was like, oh fuck, I gotta go. And I think I'd been laying on my arms and my hands were numb. But as I was trying to get to where I was going, my body parts were starting to fall off. And I knew if I didn't reach a specific point, I would. And so by the end of the dream, I was just an elbow and a shoulder and my chest, dragging myself to where. And then as I got to a certain point, I was like, wait, this is a dream. And I snapped up and I was oh, I was checking my body. It's it was worse than teeth falling out dreams. You know what I mean?
Oh, those are.
I've never had teeth falling out. I've had the joke that we had before about flaccid teeth, where I've gone to bite into something and it's almost my teeth just squish into my gums, and that's a weird one.
I've had the teeth falling out where it's it's almost your teeth are hard gum, like a clips or something like that, the pieces. And you bite and you feel the crunch.
Ooh.
And you go to pull.
and
it's you're going this, and then you have to get all the way up at the root to yank it out. And you're oh no. And it's it's almost you've initiated the loop. Like once you start that, it's like, oh no, what about this one? And then you just sit there, you're like, what the fuck? Fucking dreams are fucking wild, dude.
They're wild. I get violent in my dreams, and I think that's a problem. Like a couple weeks.
Are you successfully violent?
Usually successfully violent. Like it's very, very infrequent that I'm like
scary.
I'm swinging through molasses or anything. Like there's a couple times it happens, but a couple weekends ago I woke myself up because I had rolled over and punched my fucking nightstand next to my desk. Like my hand hurt, so I woke up because I just like slammed it, and I was like, oh, it woke me up because my hand hurt. And I was like, oh, what the fuck happened? Like knocked all my like shit that was on my nightstand on the floor. I was like, oh, those are violent ones. Like I'll stand up out of bed, like ready to swing, and I'm like, oh no, it was a dream. Like calm down, everything's fine.
Okay. And then how did you feel?
Felt relieved.
You might want some therapy, doo-dah, doo-dah.
What do you mean therapy? I'm fine.
Fuck it. Yeah. So I had this dream that like a dick was in my mouth. It was just like, oh, just go and go. And I woke up. There was a Mossberg 870 just fucking chilling there. What?
I didn't realize I could get that much saliva when I sleep.
Just wake up holding the barrel.
Yes.
What?
Where's the dick?
Oh.
All fun and games.
So, speaking of games. So, how do you win 7 days of Tarkov?
Okay.
You just, because you don't have traders, right?
I don't have traders.
So you don't have missions.
I don't have missions.
Are you just like, you're just surviving?
That's kind of the idea behind it. So what I was, I tried to do this a little bit differently. Normally
it is intriguing watching like the Tarkov mechanics interact with until like just today when I said like, I was like, did you ever get your game debugged?
Yeah, it's like I picked like, oh, what's that? And then like, brrr, it's like, oh Christ, I couldn't read magazines and stuff. Yeah, I had to restart the game. Usually restarting fixes all the coding stuff. I'm trying to do this a little bit differently. Like normally I do 7 days where like I talk all the way through it and I explain what I'm doing. I'm kind of just trying to play naturally without like trying to over explain things and just trying to see. I have the loot turned up because I just want to see crazy shit. I just want to see the crazy Tarkov weapons and stuff and then take on crazy Horde Knights. So because
which I almost don't know if it's feasible.
What do you mean?
Crazy Horde Knights in this when you have regular people walking around in killa armor.
Yeah.
having to leg meta people.
Yeah.
Just the first episode, I was like, oh, that's not good. You're gonna have like the fucking big blobs with the fucking Alton helmet like, running at you.
Yeah. So the one Horde Night we did, there were some regular zombies coming in, but like you realize that the 7 days leading up to Horde Night, because there's so many strong zombies, that you are wasting a fuck ton of ammo to get through it. And each of the ammo has armor pen on it. So you can kind of see, like it tells you it does X amount of block damage or X amount of damage based on the type of like ammo that you're using. So it's like
you're saving the big boys.
Exactly, for the Horde Night. But then you're also running through high-end POIs where you've got big boy armor and you're like, you got to kind of pick and choose. So like during Horde Night, I was low on specific ammo. And towards the end of Horde Night, I was getting a ton of armored zombies. So it was like, holy shit, I got to just like plug where I can. And you're right, like the leg meta, but there's still like headshot damage that's like stacked. So you kind of have to pick and choose what you're doing. So
fucking 1 through 9 is nothing but ketters while you're running through POIs.
You're not even reloading, just swapping to the next one. So that and that's kind of like the idea I wanted to do. I wanted to get through the first 7 days and check that's a good point. I guess we're only day 5 into it right now. Sorry, I've recorded 8 or 9 days right now. So
So you have?
Yeah, so I've gotten through the first Horde night. Not to dump any spoilers or anything, but like enough to where it's.
But he lives.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, obviously. But it's enough that where like I'm realizing now that not having traders, not having missions, and like trying to find your weapons naturally through the world, there's a little bit more. I have to do some tweaking. I can't just play with the game the way that it is. I have to like adjust some settings and things like that. Because I think the goal is just going to eventually what I would like to do is I don't want to have like a crazy horde base like we normally do in 7 days. I want a pretty simplistic horde base and focus primarily on the weapon usage or the stim usage and things like that to take on the hordes. And so I feel like it's going to get to the point where I'm going to be running around outside with just guns taking on zombie hordes. Which, you know, might be cool. It's like the labs event that we had where we're just sitting in a corner, just plugging away at zombies as they're coming at us. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I imagine this going. I don't also imagine this being a long series. I think this is just going to be, you know, a few horde nights with the stuff. Cause not having traders has also changed the way that you play it. Like I'm just like teetering back and forth between a few things, trying to get the supplies I need. But then I'm realizing like there's just no content to it. There's nothing going on. Like it's fun, it's interesting, but without a direction from at least the traders, you're just kind of, this is sandbox. At this point I'm playing Minecraft, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's different. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to try something different and see if it took hold and was something that I could work off of. Plus, not explaining what I was doing every step of the way and just being able to play the game naturally, it's a lot more fun to record. Because I get to just be way more natural and fun about it versus like trying to like overthink or overplan or explain what I'm doing all the way through. And it just kind of like took the edge off of playing 7 days, which was cool.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. It does feel sandboxy.
Yeah.
In the sense that you're just kind of running around and it's like the Tarkov element's cool. I was just wondering like if there is like if you're unlocking like Tarkov traders and getting Tarkov-esque tasks, like you're like kill like a certain amount of zombies wearing like X armor or some shit like that.
And that's what I don't know, because of course I mashed this all together right off the front line, because that's what I wanted to see is like if the Tarkov mod itself was weapons and things like that made it interesting to play, because that would be a mod that I would keep in for the remainder of other playthroughs or other challenge stuff that I did later down the road when I turned traders back on. But then I started playing, I was also thinking like, fuck, is there gonna be stuff that is like Tarkov mission based where like you said, you know, kill X amount of zombies, or if there was other things like almost base related things, you know, like bring X amount of syringes back to traders or something like that. And of course, because I have the mod running right now with no traders, I can't really take that off and check because I can end up fucking everything up. So I'm like, okay, cool. And that's why I'm like, I'm going to have this as a short series, something to fuck around with, see if it works out, see if it's interesting at the late or the mid game, at least not the late game. Cause I hate playing 7 days late game, but like the mid game where like things are kind of tough. Like you're kind of limited on ammo, but you have like good weapons and stuff. And you're kind of like, okay, I feel comfortable taking on, you know, X amount of stuff, but then also not having traders, your experience is kind of capped, but you're also at a point where, because you're not being forced into certain locations, finding loot also becomes kind of difficult in its own right. So I don't know, man. It's a different way to play 7 days, and it's nice because that is my love, but I have to change it up constantly, or I get fucking bored of 7 days, you know? Not bored, but like you can only do it so many times before you're eventually doing the same thing. I played with Mike and Marie because they have a world going, and like they've been playing for a long time in this world, and every time I pop in, they've done something else and something crazy. It's been cool to like play multiplayer 7 days again. I haven't done that in years, and except, you know, with me and you, or like when me and Cliff were playing before. And so like popping in with Mike and Marie and just being like, so what do you guys got going on? Oh, like we have this and these are our weapons and this is our base and we're going to take out a horde diet. And I'm like, cool. Is it cool if I throw some traps up? And they're like, yeah, we have no idea what's going on. And then like stick up a bunch of traps on their base and they're like, holy shit, let's go. Like, it's fun. So, but okay. Speaking of games, now that we're on this train, this is actually a game. Oh,
hold on. I need to.
Okay. I see what's happening.
Sorry about that. Thought I got it all out. Didn't.
Could be worse, man.
I could have just made it content and just did it right here.
Dude.
You're gonna watch my face like.
Did I send you guys the AI thing of like the cat and the baby? Dude, AI is getting fucking weird, man. There's some AI stuff that you kind of look at and you're like, oh, it's just like creepy or awkward. It kind of gives you like that ick vibe, you know? It's like, I'm sure DSM 6 will have like some type of AI phobia thing coming up, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, that it's on its way for that type of stuff. And like, you get it. Like, you know, sometimes people see like, what is it? The tryptophobia or whatever, where they see the little holes and it creeps them out. Sometimes I'll look at AI and I'm like, oh, I just got an unsettled, like just the pit of my stomach just kind of like knots up a little bit.
See, here's the thing that I don't think people are really thinking about. So AI, quantum computing, all that, there is a certain branch of scientists that believe that AI is nothing more than a portal to other realities, because they have this, and I don't know how they come up with an equation that they say if you took all of the stars in the known galaxy and you gave them computing power and you put them all on a task to solve an equation, that by the time that they couldn't figure it out before the stars burned out with all of that computing power. But quantum computers are solving it in a matter of minutes.
Right.
And so there's like certain people that are like, this is just proof that like quantum computing is going to other realities where these equations already exist and is finding it.
I mean,
that
I can
thought process is AI generated art where they're like, is that just another quantum reality where these things are fucking real? Because some of the ones that are like coming out where it's like, and like the eyes like stay the same, but like,
yeah,
the whole body and everything like morphs, and it's got that weird, almost like wet, feathery texture.
Yeah,
I don't want that shit to be real. That's some real life fucking doom shit.
I will tell you. Once so I got really interested in high school into like quantum mechanics.
Hold on, I'm gonna go get some foil and wrap around my head for this one.
Quantum theory and like different stuff like that. And like, it is such an interesting. There was a movie that was that got put out, like What the Bleep Do We Know? It was released in like 2005 or something like that. And it was this really, really fucking crazy movie that kind of like delved a little bit into like quantum theory and stuff like that. And like the idea that what we can only see is like what our brain can interpret, that like, you know, people that do like DMT or stuff like that, you know, where their mind opens up. Like, is it possible that I was reading this article and they were referencing it and they were saying, is it possible that oxygen that we know as oxygen, that is actually a toxic fucking gas? We have to live off of oxygen. We're the only, like, out of everything in the world, carbon-based, like oxygen is actually pretty fucking toxic, yet we need it to survive. So is it possible that oxygen dampers, like us, is like as a poison, it dampers our mind and everything, and then like when we take actual drugs is like when we actually see reality? Like, that would be fucking weird, dude. It's like, there's a lot of like crazy ideas that kind of float around like that. Like, and that type of shit is weird, but it's also really, really cool to think about. That it's like, if we could see like reality as itself, and like that's the idea behind this movie, is that like you could have a tree grow right in front of you if you just believed it to be there, or whatever it came out to, or if you could see through dimensions and, you know, if we were sitting in the same time space as another universe, and where I think my house is actually like some.
I'm sorry
kingdom.
I brought up the quantum shit. Like it's too early for my brain to fucking.
Bro, it'd be fucking weird. But again, the AI stuff.
Now you're talking about that, like, you know, it is just like a series of cones that's absorbing light. What if we're not even giving all the light that's hitting the eyes? Maybe my cat is trying to talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, what's the saying? Like certain blue or violet wavelengths are like that they don't actually exist, but like we have them that exist. Like we can't see them. Like what is there if there's like beings or things that exist, or even like space ripples of time that like only operate in those wavelengths, and we're just like passing them on a daily basis because we can't actually see them.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's weird.
Some Black Mirror shit.
Yeah. All right. So going back to gaming, that son of a bitch did it.
Todd Howard.
No. Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah. He got to buy another 40-year-old game.
I got two sons of bitches that hit me on the God, Oblivion.
That was the funniest fucking thing that like I literally like the night before was just watching like a Meat Canyon video, and they're like, what was the first like microtransaction? Oh, was that fucking horse mount in Oblivion? Fucking Todd Howard, little bitch short boy Todd Howard. And like he just went on this thing, he's all, fuck that guy, fuck that. And then like you said, he's all, the son of a bitch did it again. Got ready to buy a fucking mount.
I did. I was like, oh man, all the DLCs and everything for like 10 extra bucks.
All the DLCs and that?
Right.
Solid.
Totally solid. But I was like, oh, $10 for all the DLCs and everything. And I clicked it and I made sure I bought it with the deluxe edition for the Oblivion. And then, of course, it was like, you've unlocked horse armor. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so stupid. Oh, I was talking to Aaron about this. I fucking love Oblivion. I think Oblivion is my favorite Elder Scrolls game. Like I love Skyrim. I love Morrowind. I love both of them in their own right. I love Skyrim for what it was able to do and how much it was able to do. Like, believe you.
It's been so long since I played Oblivion or Skyrim. Oblivion's the one, spoilers on a 30-year-old game. Oblivion is the one where at the end the portal opens, right? You're opening the portal to Oblivion. And that's the first one that introduced like the Thieves Guild and shit like that.
Yes. Did the Thieves Guild? Yes. And then
okay. Yeah. Oblivion was tight.
Oblivion, like all the Oblivion gates that opened up all over the world, and like you had to go in and close them.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
God, am I gonna fucking
dude? Okay, so here's the thing. Because I played Oblivion probably like 6 months ago. I like downloaded my copy of Oblivion and played it, and it's old because I was on an Elder Scrolls kick. Like it was something, I don't know. Skyrim might have released for the 16th time or something, and I was like, I don't know. So I downloaded Morrowind and I played Morrowind for a little bit, and I was like, man, I love Morrowind because there's a lot you can do in Morrowind. Morrowind is a very specific. Morrowind is like on that level between what would have been current RPG and like still almost in the D&D level. You know what I mean? Where it's a lot of number crunching. It's a lot of figuring things out. Morrowind's sick. Morrowind's a lot of fun. But Morrowind's really easy to just kind of get over. I don't want to say overwhelmed, but there's just almost too much, and it kind of like makes it. And I love the game, but it is like I don't want to sit down and have to fight a game to play the game. You know what I mean? But Oblivion has something about it. Oblivion is just interesting storylines. It's not a terribly massive map, but there's a lot of shit you can do, and there's a lot of shit you can break in that game, and it makes it a lot of fun. And then of course you get to Skyrim, and then of course because it's been re-released so many times, it's almost like this perfect experience of what people expect for like open world RPGs. You know what I mean? And everything that comes out is a copycat of Skyrim, but Oblivion is its own instance. This remaster though, fuck dude, it looks good, it plays good, they've fixed a lot of the stuff that used to be shitty. Like it used to be like you don't really play a ranger class because bows were dog shit in that game. but they kind of fixed it a little bit. So now I'm doing like a stealth archer build a little bit. And
which is crazy to say because I feel like I played like an archer class mostly, and I never noticed like a huge, or maybe I just never like really dove into the other ones. I did like a lot of archery in Morrowind and in all the Elder Scrolls. That was always kind of like my go-to.
Yeah,
I never noticed a huge like
Oblivion had a shit like stealth archer like system. It was really bad. Not really bad, but it was just like you could play with a bow or whatever it came out to, but like for the most part, it was like destruction magic and like a sword. That was your go-to. Because like the attunements that you got on certain weapons were just way better than anything you can get with bows. But it's been fun to play, and it's been great to just go back and like do crazy shit. Like I started the Thieves Guild stuff, and then I got into Dark Brotherhood and started doing a bunch of Dark Brotherhood quests. And like, it was just, it's just been so much fun to dick around with old school, like Oblivion. And like I said, I had played it 6 months ago and kind of did the same thing. And I was like, this is cool, but it was really showing its age. And because it was showing its age, you know what I mean? It was really hard for you to kind of like, turn that brain off of being like, I'm just playing an old game, you know?
Yeah.
So now, seeing it in this remastered light, it's almost like it's not a new game, obviously, because I'm doing all the same shit again. But my brain is just going, "Ew, it's fun and neat and pretty." You know, it's taking an old junker car that you love and care about and giving it a new paint job and you know, couple new upgrades. And you're loving it again. You know,
it's fun to get behind the wheel again.
Exactly. And so,
okay, is the son of a bitch did again? Not Todd Howard. The first one, is it the Adoring Fan?
No, not yet. No,
because that motherfucker, man, out of nowhere, memes started popping up with him, and I was like, "Oh God, that's perfect."
Yeah. No, Sean is my first son of a bitch.
Oh,
yeah.
What did he do again?
He got me into playing WoW.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's a little different. It's a little different.
How?
So we're on this private server called Ascension, and the way that it works is every time that you level up or every other level up, you get a random roll and you get an ability from any class in the game. And so it's like a roguelite where you have to build your character based off of these random rolls that you get. And like you can re-roll that ability that you got with scrolls, but scrolls are limited. So you have to kind of like pick and choose what you're doing and how you're like focusing your build. Like you pick, do I want to be a strength character? Do I want to be a like int character? And like as you pick those base stats, then your rolls are based off of whatever that stat is. And so you can be a rogue, like a stealth rogue that shoots magic. You could be a tank class that heals. You could be a mage class that tanks. You know what I mean? So like, there's all these different variations to the game.
Back up a second. Just so I'm understanding this correctly, you said you get random. Every other level, you get a random roll from anything, but then you said based on your stats. Are your stats influencing what that random roll is, or are you basing your stats on your random rolls?
No. Okay. So your stats will help dictate a higher percentage chance of a random roll from a class that like dictates that stat. So it's not saying that, okay, so I picked intellect. So I have a higher,
it's not completely random. You're not going to like, it's not going to like shove something that's like,
oh, it will
way out of your,
it will.
Oh, okay.
So like, think about it like this. Think of it like on a percentage base. I have intellect. So I have a 60% chance to get an int based spell off of like mages or demonology or something like that. But there's still like a 40% chance to get like a strength based roll. You know what I mean? So stuff like that.
Increasing your chances by putting into certain stuff, but it's still not guaranteed. Okay.
Exactly. And so like even gear, as you finish and complete missions and do things like that, you get a box. You don't get, there's no gear that you can really buy. You can buy some shit, but all the gear that you get comes out of a box. And then when you roll that box, it's a random set of gear and what you could use for your class. Can you use this to make things better? Okay, I'm a cloth based user, but I got a bunch of fucking mail or plate armor. Well, okay, it's not really going to help me, but is it better for what I'm using right now as I kind of roll through and get like the next step? So it turns WoW into this roguelite based experience. And then once you hit level 10, you could just hit dungeons or this thing called Mana Storm, where it's just like a single or duo player experience where you can just go in and you just try and clear like little areas and kill a boss. And if you complete it, then you get to the next step, and then you just keep going and going and going until you eventually die, and then you have to reset. It's interesting. It's cool. I mean, it's a different way to play it. I had played Ascension way back, a few years ago, like pre-COVID time. And they
Ascension, like the game mode that you're talking about?
Ascension is the private server. That's what they call it. So it's WoW Ascension. Okay. That's the private server. And they when I had played it, it was like in its infancy state, and it was like struggling to just kind of like get its footing. And now they've kind of worked it out a little bit. That's really interesting. On their PTR realm, the public test realm, they also have a bunch of like random classes that are not in traditional WoW. Like you can play like a blood mage, or you can play a necromancer, you know, like a chronomancer, and like there's all these different random classes the community has always loved and wanted to play. And so this team of people, they took WoW and then they built their own like stuff with it. They like made their own like spells that don't exist in normal WoW. They kind of like picked and choose and like made this stuff out. It's really fucking weird. And I think because of how weird it is, that's what's got me invested in just playing it and dicking around with it and just trying it, you know. But for me to be like, I'm not gonna play WoW ever again, I'm done with it. And then Sean's like,
no, we knew that was a lie.
I know. And I'm not saying that this is the go-to.
Anytime you start talking about WoW, even if it starts with I'm fucking never going back with it, I'm sick of it, blah blah blah. You start like it's like if you were to like talk to somebody with like Down syndrome about like WWE, like they like you can see the visible excitement that's bubbling from within them that's coming out. And even if you're like, yeah, fuck, I'm over it, I hate it. Like you see it like right behind the eyes, just like coming out.
It is a danger.
You're like the perfect symphony of the tank versus the healer versus the DPS in the dungeon, the cacophony of, and you start talking about it. Like even if you're fucking like coming out some like bullshit, like I'm never playing it again, like you know you're going back.
Well, okay, so the thing that always excited me about WoW specifically was like number crunching, or like planning and number crunching, when like you get certain ideas behind where the synergy of your team worked. Okay, I know, like when I tanked with Sean when we were raiding, I knew that like we had certain abilities on bosses where You're starting. I knew that when we had certain bosses, we had like certain ways between the two tanks, as a blood tank and like as a protection pally. We knew that we had a kit that we had to be able to use. And so when we go in and tank, we'd say, okay, like if we have this ability pop up, I need you to do this. And then you can pull off of me and I can do that. And we could make this thing kind of flow. And the synergy became this fun dance between the two of us. With this game, you don't just crunch your class. You now have to crunch every class. Right. And so like what was the synergy before ends up becoming your synergy now. And it's like, I've always loved that idea of being able to be like,
so there's kind of a aspect of this that you really do need to have that full knowledge, total understanding of everything possible and everything that's going to work in to try to even get a roadmap of like, okay, I got this, and I know I might be able to get this later because this player, like, you know, it almost.
There is a little bit to that. There is enough changes. They've put in new spells and stuff like that. That like we've gotten a couple things been like, what in the fuck is that? And it's like, that kind of sounds cool. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that stuff that plays in. I would definitely have to say like having base knowledge makes it easier, but then I think it also makes it less fun, because the idea behind some roguelites is like when you first initially play a new roguelite, it's just grabbing stuff and be like, what does that do? And then be like, that was super sick, I'm going to keep that. Or, you know, getting something and be like, that looks awesome. And then playing with it and be like, this is dog shit, I don't ever want to touch that again. You know what I mean? That's the fun of roguelites. So like having too much knowledge ends up becoming what everybody else is doing. Like I was playing PvP today, and it's like, oh, that motherfucker is on like season 9. He's done this a few times. He knows exactly what he needs to pick to have the best play. And I was just getting smoked, you know? Or, you know, I played with another kid in a dungeon, and he was like, yeah, I just kind of like pick and choose, and like, this is where my build is at. And I'm like, oh, you're blowing shit up. That's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of that. And because there's still the Holy Trinity, right? You still have the DPS, you still have the tanks, you still have the healers. Like when you get into a dungeon aspect or a raid aspect, you can't all just pick the same fucking abilities. Like, we need a healer, we need a tank, you need the DPS. So even with it being like, I could choose everything and have the best toolkit, not everyone can be a tank, not everyone can be a healer. You know what I mean?
So then where in this this assembly of, I don't even know how to describe it. Where, if you're assembling a dungeon team, if you're like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. If you have all these like quasi tank, quasi healer, quasi this, how do you, if you're like, now get out of here, kid. He's like, well, I always want to be a fucking platypus. Nah, you know, if I can get to like, you know, where are you, do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do. How
do you put it together if everybody's kind of like,
well,
you have all these like partial, like, oh, this much tank, this much heal. Do you have to find this much more tank and this much more heal somewhere else?
Not only,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then there's all, okay. So here's a good point to that. So how do you find the balance between it? Also comes down to the idea of, because it's random rolls, there's no guarantee that your healer's coming in with enough healing spells to take care of the team. So like,
there's gonna be one person out there who's just like, he's just got the shit end of all the rolls and nobody wants to play with him. Like, come on, guys. They're like, no, fuck out of here, Craig.
There's a cool thing. Once you hit 60, you can prestige and it will reset everything. And so like, you can pick and choose certain things to keep, and then you can roll again to like go back in to like kind of fix your class. And the leveling is way quick. It's way quick. Like me and Sean sat down, we hit level 10 in like a day, within a couple of hours, which for a classic WoW is not an experience that happens. You know what I mean? Hitting level 60 in classic WoW is like months worth of time play. Well, not anymore, but like it used to be. I just did like a couple dungeons and some PvP, and I'm already like 35. You know what I mean? Like, it's like boom, boom, boom. It's fucking fast. So I think the idea with this is to definitely get to the 60 point where you can prestige, re-roll, pick some other things, and then go from there. Because it does seem weird that if I get all the shit ends of rolls, like, and I'm trying to build a specific character, I don't want to be fucking hamstrung by the time I hit the cap, where it's like, all right, well, what do you do now? Well, delete your character and start over. Like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I have already played a couple dungeons where it's like somebody's playing as tank and they don't have enough tank abilities to keep threat generated. So you like drop Blizzard on a pack and they all run at you. And it's like, all right, well, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like, where's the threat? You know? And so, but it's also old school WoW where it's like 3 Sunders, bitch, 3 Sunders, wait for the Sunders. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. It's weird. It's kind of a cool idea though, because we've always decided, or we've always talked about having like an MMO like that, where you're kind of a little bit more free flowing. It's on your terms, how you want to have a character, you know? And as we played WoW, it was always that type of thing where it's like, it's dope to play a class, but I'd really like to have this ability from this class. You know what I mean? Like I like, this would make my class perfect if I had these 3 abilities, and they come from, you know, like a priest and like, you know, maybe a rogue. And if I had these 2 abilities from them, I can make this class dope as fuck. And you can do that now. And so it's like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens. It's been wild. It's also going back and playing like WoW again, which is, I think that's the negative for me, because I'm playing it, I'm having fun, but I'm also like, ugh. I'm not paying for a subscription though, so that's nice. It's free, completely free, 100% free.
Ooh.
Yeah, 100% free, no subscription base at all. Quick download. It was like 25 gigs or some shit like that. Boom, in it, playing right off the bat.
That
Yeah.
is much more appealing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. That's always been the thing for me. I do get jealous of you fucking like uber nerds when you're like, ooh, wow. But the barrier to entry to me has always been the amount of time that you need to invest into it. B, I was having like a little trouble with like stylistically, like graphics and how it felt like an old game, and you were like, if you get there, it gets a little better and stuff like that. But like ultimately, like the style is going to be the style. But then B, it's like, if I don't have the time and I don't have this, I don't want to be spending X amount of dollars per month on something to try to get into it, to see if once I get to that final fucking level, that will take me a long time because I don't have the time to dedicate into it to figure out. It's like, I feel like I'd spend $100 and something and then just be like, you know what, this isn't for me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So that's cool that there's, it also makes me think that like Blizzard's going to take it down.
If they would have done it, they would have done it fucking 10 years ago. I mean, this
Isn't that what they said about like the vanilla WoW before they brought out like the vanilla WoW only servers though?
I guess that
like, man, this is getting so popular. We're going to shut it down and we're going to sell it to you.
Well, yeah, and that's another good point too. And I guess if that's the case, then play it now before it gets shut down. You know?
Yeah.
Because it is like the perfect experience for WoW. It's quick, it's fast. Once you hit level 10 and you don't have to quest anymore, you literally don't ever have to quest again. Like you can just do the mana storms, you can do the dungeons, you can do the PvP. Like sure, you could run out and do missions if you wanted to get other spoils. There's still a lot of this I have no idea about. Like I've been trying to dive in, and it's like, wow, it's a pretty good chunk of like fucking crazy information that you need to get. And then this thing is just like, we took all of that and then expanded on it and then added a system and a different system and then put something else on there. And we want you to all figure it out by just clicking on a menu and then trying to read through stuff. And it's like, I fucking don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like I've got all these marks and tokens and all this stuff. And I'm like, where do I spend it? Where do I fucking use this stuff? You know? And it's like, can't figure it out. So it's confusing, but it's also interesting confusing, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, going to that point of like MMO, I would like to have an MMO I can play with friends. And I hate that it always goes back to WoW. You know what I mean? Like, cause there's so many people that just, this is what we grew up on. And so it's like EverQuest with Aaron. Like I played EverQuest. I played a lot of EverQuest, but I didn't play as much as Aaron, especially Aaron and Marius, right? Like I did not play as much as they played, but I did play a lot of EverQuest. By the time I was really getting invested in EverQuest is when I swapped over to City of Heroes, and then I eventually wound up at WoW. And then after WoW, I wound up in DC Universe Online, you know? So when we talk to the friend group and it's like, well, what do you want to play? Aaron's like, I want to play EverQuest. Like, totally understandable. That's your MMO. Talk to fucking Sean and Cliff and all those. Like, what do you want to play? Like, well, we should play some WoW. You know, it's like, that's their MMO, you know? It's funny that like eventually everybody winds back up in WoW because it's accessible. It's easy. People have knowledge on it. It's been around for fucking 30 years now. 30. Yeah. Almost 35 years, something like that. 2004. Fuck, dude. It's gross, dude. It's gross. I won't play live though. I won't spend money on it. Won't buy expansion. All the new WoW is just gross.
But you can play Kung Fu Panda.
Pandas are dope. Me and Sean still have our characters. They're pretty old now. We're way behind. But I have Ping Ling. He has Ping Ming. and we were the Kung Fu Panda brothers. It's just like during like really important cutscenes where like Anduin's talking to you, like we have to get there and do this. Like two pandas just like dancing on a table. Fucking
dorks.
Oh my god. Sean is, well, we've said it before. Sean is content. You know what I mean?
Sean is just walking, breathing content.
And he's the guy that makes, for me, he makes everything so fun because he's the person that I know I can cut loose with, and he will match the energy of cut loose.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it just goes from there. It becomes toxic at best.
God, and I bet you, now that you've brought up that point, WoW with Sean is probably so much fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a time where Sean will like match your energy, and then there's a time where like where you could tell Sean's really fucking feeling it, and he's just giving it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if that's his game, I could see him just 100,000% loving it.
But it's also the other side of that too, where Sean can get very fucking mean about it too. Like, you know,
that's even better.
Yeah. We were playing yesterday, and we just unlocked dungeons. Like, and he was like, I'm gonna go in his tank. I'm like, cool, let's go. And like, we have no idea what the fuck we're doing. We have base knowledge at best of Ascension, right? Like, we have no WoW knowledge, but we don't have anything else on this. And we went into a dungeon, and someone was just fucking barreling past Sean, just pulling mobs and doing all this stuff. And Sean was getting frustrated because, one, he's tank. Two, he's like, tanks are the people that's supposed to dictate the speed of the dungeon, things of that nature. And for three, you're a new player coming in being like, I'm just trying to fucking figure this out. If you're running it through, pulling shit, killing things, I'll never learn anything. Right?
Yeah.
Totally respectable. And he was getting so fucking hot. He was getting so hot. And I was like, bro, like, we're playing an online MMO, and this is how this shit goes. Like this is just a bad group. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Like, speak your mind, be like, hey man, I'm brand new to this. Like, let me figure things out. Try not to pull stuff. And the guy keeps doing it. Fuck it, whatever. Let's just get through the dungeon. We'll try it again on another run, because you're just gonna have that fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was trying to like say that, and he was just like, you fucking siding with them makes me more angry. And I was like, all right, Sean, let's just get through this, man. Let's just get through this. It's so funny, man. And it is. And then it's like, at one point, like, we were trying to talk about something, and I was like, yeah, when you roll your ability, he's like, what do you mean roll? And I was like, yeah, when the ability rolls. He's like, what do you mean by roll? And I was like, I don't know how else to describe this. Like, when you click the dice at the top of the screen when we level up and it rolls, like that, I'm talking about that. He's like, yeah, but I don't understand what you mean by roll. And I was like, all right, Sean, I'm gonna fucking walk away. We'll be back to this later. I know I'm not explaining it well enough for you to understand. It makes sense in my head. I don't know how else to describe it. We're at a crossroads. Drop it. Let's go. Oh man. Oh. But that's what it used to be like when me and Sean played. You know, it was like we would get hot and bothered over stupid shit, and we would both argue. But then we'd also get to the point where we'd talk well enough that we would understand what we were both talking about. And then it was on the same page. It's like, okay, now we get one another. Okay, I get what you're talking about. You get what I'm talking about. Let's fucking make this happen. And then it was like, boom, boom, boom. And like every time that happened, then it was like a boss went down, or like we got a fucking pull that we had no idea how to pull. And like it just went smooth. And like we positioned bosses in ways that fucking made the team like, oh, that was perfect. We can get our shit done. Like we can stay. Oh, it's like, oh, chef's kiss. Oh, swear to God. That was also... I was drinking a lot during our WoW game, because that was like COVID time period. We weren't going anywhere. We raided for 3 hours a night on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we were like, M+ all throughout the week after that point. And so we would sit down, and I was getting fucking blasted. And I was like, we would play. It was like, oh, I'm going to pour a drink. Ha ha ha. And I was drinking like bourbon or scotch and stuff. And so 3 hours of a bottle of scotch, you know what I mean? By the time we get done with raid night, I'm
fucking
just
pirate-eyed.
Yeah, barely pirate-eyed. Like, You're hearing, on drunk nights, you're hearing people in the mic getting like visibly sick, like, like, don't you fucking puke in your lap, man. Like,
Just dribbling down. I'm back.
Oh my God. Dangerous.
Oh. Man. COVID time gaming.
COVID time gaming was so much fun.
What a magical.
Because that was like, there was so much going on, man. We were playing WoW. PUBG was still hot. Like.
Oh, and I think I spent most of it just wasting it on Warzone.
Yeah. Yeah. 2020 gaming. That's when like everybody, because they were working from home or whatever, and like, oh yeah, it's gonna be really hot. Because that's when Shadowlands came out, and it was like, ugh, this is dog shit MMO. But still WoW, and we all still had fun playing it. And we had just come off of like a low high of Battle for Azeroth, and like the MMO kind of spiraled into whatever. And then that's when then Final Fantasy picked up and was like blowing up. It was like in 2021, 2022 time period. Oh my God. Then that was crazy. That was like, there's just peak gaming was happening at that point in time. I had 2 MMOs that I was playing, and then all the cool shooters started popping up. Like that's when Apex was at like its peak too. And we were playing a lot of Apex, that was so much fun to play. I think we need another pandemic.
Yeah, but can it be like something else? Not like health related. Can it just be like martial law? Can we just do that or something?
No, because then you got too many people trying to go out and take over the government at that point in time. Like get another like sick pandemic.
We need no, not healthcare. I'm in healthcare. I don't want to deal with that shit.
Then don't go to work.
I want the new Pope brings about like a new world order.
Oh.
I'm so mad. Like I was like driving home from work. I like was like hitting Bucks Bar. I was like, I didn't go to Party City. I was gonna find a Pope outfit. We're gonna do a whole thing. I want the new Pope, like just like I said, like I want to be like, this is the guy. And, like he's up there, and then just like stroke, and then all he said, so Your Excellency, or however they like talk to the Pope, like, what are you doing? Holy War Crusade. That's like all he's just stuck on that. They're like, are you sure? And they're like, no. He's a divination of the Lord speaking through him. Crusade!
I want to see this as being the actual like apocalyptic time period. They like get the Pope out, like white smoke happens. We got him there. He comes out and he stands on the balcony, standing in Vatican Square. He looks a bunch of the crowd and just starts fucking talking tongues. Sky turns dark around. Like, holy shit.
Was it a movie or like a book series where like the Pope came out on the thing, like the smoke came out, somebody shot him in the head, but like he lived, and like that was like the birth of like the Antichrist or something like that?
I have no idea.
Am I imagining this? God,
That'd be dope if it was a story.
I feel like I've like read this. Maybe it was a book or something. I don't know. Where like somebody was killed, but like they're like, he should be dead. I don't understand how he's not. And like he came back with like perfect cognition, but like there's like such a radical shift in like personality, and he brought it about like the end of the world.
I have no idea. We'll have to look it up. I've never heard of this.
Or maybe it was the melatonin. I don't know.
It's possible. Yeah, it's just another dream. It is wild to think that the Pope died the day after Easter.
Yeah.
And also, I will say that this was probably the one Pope that I actually enjoyed.
Nah.
I mean, you can't really enjoy any of them, but like, yeah.
No,
Benedict before him was a little bit more.
I want the Pope to be popey. This guy wasn't very popey.
No, what does popey mean? You want him in fucking? Do you want Benedict? You want him fucking in glamour and gold and robes and all this thing and out there with a staff and all that? Yeah. No. This was.
Yeah, I want the Pope mobile going around.
Yeah.
Like driving.
Francis was like the one that like took it back to like.
This guy was like, there ain't no rules. What are we doing? Let's get some like.
he was a bouncer before, like when he was younger. He was a bouncer for a club.
he was like he was having like drag shows like in the Vatican and stuff. Like,
I could see that.
Like I want like a fire and brimstone pope. I want there to be in 2025, like people are like, he'll behead you. What? Yeah. No, like Catholic Church is back, buddy. Like I want like some fuck. That's what I want. Yeah. I want a fucking.
Have you heard of the guy from like way long ago, way long ago, who predicted every pope that had ever come? And like, there's like a running history of him.
Yeah, Nosferatu or Nostradamus. Fucking dumb.
The vampires, man.
No, we'll edit that part out. Yeah, Nostradamus.
No, but he predicted every pope like exactly as the
Dave Chappelle's Nostradamus,
where he came from. Yeah, Terrence Howard's Nostradamus. But the last pope he had referenced, I think, was this Pope Francis. I don't think he either died before he could, predict the next one, but this was the last one on that list or whatever. This is possible. We could be at end times, man. There might not be another pope.
Could be. Or the guy was just a racist. Could have been like Cliff trying to predict this, because I hear there is like for the first time ever a black pope in the running for. That could be.
That would be an interesting conversation to have. It's not that
tricky ground, but some part of me thinks that like the very like indoctrinated part of the Catholic Church that goes back to like Protestants versus Catholicism, so they might have a touch of racism still left in them.
It's that conversation is like that comedian talks about. It's like, the only fucking miracle of Jesus Christ in like our current Catholic Church is the fact that he's white. Like, he was born in Bethlehem. Like, if you saw a white man in Bethlehem, people would be like, why is nobody talking about his skin color?
Stone him.
Yeah, exactly right. So, it's progressive enough that it can make sense, but we're talking about, Church of England church, like, this is probably not going to happen,
Yeah.
I mean, we could run for Pope.
Yeah. How do you throw your proverbial hat in the ring?
I don't know. That's a good question. I
don't think it's.
I know you got to be a.
Imagine if it was like running for. Yeah. You gotta like work your way up to like cardinal and like archbishop. It's not like you're like, you know what? I'd like to run for Pope.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Can you put your name? Can I put my name down on the?
How many signatures do I need to like get in on this?
No. God chose me. Trust me. You can trust me. Go ahead. I've always had this idea, especially when I was in the church for a long time. I remember talking to a couple priests when I was doing Catholic church stuff, for a long time. I was like, how do they choose? And then he went through the whole thing. I was like, no, is it that they sit down and who's the most godly of the God? Which of us like is closest to God? Like, they have that conversation. They're like, well, yeah, that's the basic. I was like, is it that, or is it who can keep the best secrets? Like, who's got the tightest fucking ass of the entire group? Like, that's the conversation. Because when you take on Pope, there's a whole door and a whole section of the Vatican that they're like, this is what's here. And like, you have to be able to go in and be not mind blown and be able to keep your mouth shut. Right. So that's got to be what it is. They all sit and go like, who can we trust the most right now? Like, who's the person that we know that when we put them there, they're going to keep their fucking mouth shut.
That's what's crazy about like.
Oh, we lost him. That's what's crazy. Fucking God just smited Brad. Just instantly wiped him out. Oh, well, I guess that's the end of this week's podcast. If you don't see us next week, remember, I'm in perfect health. He's in perfect health. We did not suicide ourselves. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.